Hi guys, welcome back to another video from CodeHow. In this video, we will create a simple e-commerce website with a focus on the feature of adding products to the shopping cart using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Here, you can see a navigation bar that contains a logo and a shopping cart icon in the top right corner. Then there is a title text and a list of products. Each product comes with an image, name, price, and a cart icon to add the product to the shopping cart. Now take a look at the cart icon in the top right corner. When we click on this icon, the shopping cart panel will appear. This panel displays a closed icon, a title, a total price, which is still $0 because no product has been added yet, and a Buy Now button to complete the purchase. This panel has a fixed position, so it will always be visible even if the page is scrolled up or down. If the closed icon is clicked, the panel will be hidden again. Next, if we add a product by clicking the cart icon on the product, a notification badge will appear on the cart icon to indicate that the product has been successfully added, and the number of products in the badge will become 1. In the shopping cart panel, the selected product will be displayed with details, such as an image, name, price, quantity, and a delete icon. The total price will also be updated automatically according to the price and quantity of products in the cart. If we increase or decrease the product quantity, the total price will update in real time. However, the quantity cannot be less than 1. When we add another product, the total price will be recalculated based on the products in the cart. If we try to add the same product again, an alert message will appear with the text, "This item is already in the cart," and the product will not be added to the cart again. On the other hand, if a different product is added, it will be added to the cart, and the notification badge will display the total number of products. If we remove a product from the cart by clicking the trash icon, the product will be removed along with its details, the total price will be updated, and the number on the badge will decrease. When the Buy Now button is pressed, if there are products in the cart, an alert message will appear. "Thank you for your purchase." All products in the cart will be cleared, the total price will return to $0, and the notification badge will disappear. However, if there are no products in the cart, an alert message will appear. "Your cart is empty. Please add items to your cart before buying." Finally, the design of this e-commerce website is responsive, so the display remains neat and easy to use across various screen sizes. The products and details in the cart panel are still clearly visible even if you access them from different devices. Alright, let's start creating this simple e-commerce website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel CodeHow so you won't miss other exciting videos. Now let's get started. Here, I have prepared a folder containing one HTML file, one CSS file, and a folder named Images. Inside the Images folder, there are several images that I will use to create this website. You can find all the download links for these images in the video description. Next, I will open these files using my code editor, Visual Studio Code. However, feel free to use any code editor of your preference. This is the HTML file I have prepared with a basic HTML structure. I have also added a link tag to connect this HTML file to the style.css file. Then, this is the CSS file. Inside it, I have imported fonts from Google Fonts and added some CSS properties, such as margin, padding, font family, and box sizing. These properties are applied to all HTML elements using the universal selector. You can find the download link for the initial code setup for both the HTML and CSS files in the video description. Next, in the HTML file, we will open the website page using the Live Server extension in Visual Studio Code. Live Server allows us to see changes directly in the browser while editing the code, without needing to manually refresh the page. Currently, we can see a blank page in the browser. This happens because the body section of our HTML file, which is responsible for displaying the main content of the page, is still empty. Now we will add some code inside this body tag. We'll create a header element that will function as the header of the web page. Inside it, there will be an A link with the class logo containing the text e-commerce to represent the website's logo. Next, we'll add a div element with the ID cart icon. This element will contain the shopping cart icon. To get the icon, we can visit the Remix icon website, but first, we need to link it to our project. Click this GitHub icon and copy this code. Then paste it inside the head tag of our HTML. After that, we can search for the desired icon. Copy it and paste it here. Next, we'll add a spanned element with the class cart item count to display the number of items in the cart. When we open the web page, we can see the header at the top of the page, with the text e-commerce as the logo and the shopping cart icon. Next, we'll add styling to enhance the appearance of the header and its elements. Now let's move on to the CSS code, starting with the body element. This code is used to set a base text color for the entire page using the color property with a dark gray value. Next, we'll add styling for the header element. The header will have the following properties. Position fixed to keep the header at the top even when scrolling. Top 0 and left 0 to position the header in the top left corner. With 100% to make the header span the entire width of the screen. Padding 25 pixels 9% to add inner spacing. Background white. Box shadow to add a subtle shadow effect. Display flex justify content space between, and a line item center to arrange the elements inside the header horizontally and neatly. Z-index 99 to ensure the header appears above other elements. For the element with the class logo, we'll add these properties. Font size 25 pixels for larger text size. Color dark gray. Text decoration none to remove the underline from the text. Font weight 600 to make the text bolder. For the element with the ID cart icon, we'll add these properties. Position relative to allow easier positioning of its child elements. Display flex to arrange elements flexibly. Font size 30 pixels to make the icon reasonably large. Cursor pointer to indicate the element is clickable. After adding the styling, we can see the header with the logo on the left, the cart icon on the right, and all elements neatly arranged, giving it a modern look. Next, we'll add styling for the elements inside cart icon, specifically the cart item count. For the span element with the class cart item count, we'll add the following properties. Position absolute to position it relative to its parent. Top 0 and right -6 pixels to place it in the top right corner of the cart icon. Width and height of 20 pixels each to make it a small circle. Background dark orange to make it stand out. Border radius 50% to make it circular. Font size 12 pixels for smaller text size. Color white to make the text visible. Display flex justify content center and a line item center to center the text inside the circle. After adding this styling, we can see a small circle in the top right corner of the cart icon. This circle will display the number of items in the cart. Next, we'll hide this element when there are no items in the cart. We'll add the property visibility hidden to the cart item count element. This property hides the element without removing it from the layout. After adding this property, the small circle is no longer visible when there are no items in the cart. Next, we will create the product listing section displayed on the website. First, we create a section element with the class shop to wrap the entire product listing section. Inside it, we add an H1 element with the class section title to display the title shop products. Then, we create a div element with the class product content to group the product listings. Each product is placed inside a div element with the class product box, which contains a div element with the class img box, where the product image is inserted using the img tag, an H2 element with the class product title to display the product name, a div element with the class price end cart, which contains a span for the product price, and a shopping cart icon to add the product to the cart. For the shopping cart icon, copy this code, paste it here, and add the class add cart. After that, we can duplicate the div with the class product box, including all its child elements. Duplicate it 8 times, and you can change the image, product name, and price for each product as desired. After adding this code, we can view the product listing section consisting of several products. Each product includes an image, name, price, and an icon added to the cart. Next, we will add styling using CSS to make the product listing look more appealing. First, we add styling for the element with the class shop. This code is used to apply the following properties: padding 100 pixels on the top, 9% on the left and right sides, and 30 pixels on the bottom to provide comfortable spacing around the element. Next, for the element with the class section title, we add the following properties: font size 35 pixels for larger text size, text alignment center to center align the text, margin bottom 15 pixels to create spacing below the title. For the product content element, we use the following properties: display grid to arrange the elements in a grid layout, grid template columns to adjust the columns automatically with a minimum width of 280 pixels and a maximum width of 1 fr, gap 30 pixels to add spacing between products. For the img box element inside product box, we add the following properties: display flex to arrange the content inside, border radius 10 pixels to give the image rounded corners, overflow hidden to crop content that exceeds the element's boundaries. For the img inside img box, with 100% to make the image fit the container size, transition 0.5 seconds for a smooth transition effect when the image is hovered. We also add a hover effect for the img inside img box. When hovered, the image will use the transform property with the value scale 1.1, causing the image to enlarge slightly. After adding this styling, we can see the product listing displayed in a grid layout. The product images have rounded corners, and when hovered, the images enlarge with a smooth transition. The next step is to add styling for the product name, price text, and shopping cart icon. For the product title element, we add the following properties: font size 20 pixels for text size, margin top 10 pixels to create spacing between the image and the product name. For the price and cart element, Display flex to arrange the elements horizontally. Justify content space between to maximize spacing between the elements. Align items center to align the elements vertically. For the price element, font size 18 pixels for medium text size. Font weight 500 to make the text appear bold. For the shopping cart icon with the Add Cart class, padding 10 pixels to make the element appear larger. Background dark orange to draw attention. Border radius 6 pixels to make the corners slightly rounded. Font size 20 pixels for a large icon size. Color white. Cursor pointer to indicate that the element is clickable. After adding the styling, the product name, price, and cart icon look neat. The cart icon has an appealing appearance with an orange color and slightly rounded corners. Next, we will create a shopping cart panel on the right side. We will create a shopping cart element. Start with a div that has the class cart. Inside it, we will add the following elements. An h2 tag with the class cart title to display the title of your cart. A div with the class cart content, which will be the container for the items in the cart. Inside it, we create a cart box element to represent the product, which includes a product image with the class cart img, a div called cart detail for product details, such as the product title, price, and quantity. Then a delete icon. We can visit the Remix icon website again to find the icon. Copy it and paste it here. Add the class cart remove to this icon. Next, the total element that includes the title total and the total price. A button with the class BTN buy for the buy now action. Lastly, a close icon. Add the ID cart close to this icon. Now let's view the result of this HTML code in the browser. You will see the basic framework of the shopping cart with elements such as the title, product details by button and close icon. However, these elements do not yet have a visual style. Next, we will style the element with the class cart. Here are the properties used. Position fixed to place the cart in a fixed position on the screen. Top 0 and right 0 to position it in the top right corner. Width 360 pixels and height 100% for full height. White background for the background color. Box shadow to give a subtle shadow. Padding for inner spacing. Z-index 100 to ensure this element is above other elements. Overflow auto to handle content that exceeds the element's boundaries. For the element with the class cart title. Text align center to center align the text. Font size 30 pixels for larger text size. For the element with the class cart box. Display flex to arrange the elements horizontally. Align items center to vertically align the elements. Margin top 20 pixels to create spacing above the element. For the image element inside cart box. Width 100 pixels and height 100 pixels for the image size. Border radius 6 pixels to make the image corners slightly rounded. Object Fit Cover to ensure the image fills the space without distortion. Margin right 20 pixels for spacing between the image and detail elements. Then for the element with the class cart detail. Display grid for a grid layout. Gap 8 pixels for spacing between grid elements. Margin right auto to push other elements to the right. For the element with the class cart product title. Font size 16 pixels for the text size. Line height 1 to adjust the line spacing, and for the element with the class cart price. Font weight 500 for medium text thickness. After adding the CSS code, you can see the shopping cart has a more structured layout and neat styling. Elements like the title, image, product details, and price now have a more appealing appearance. Next, we will style the product quantity elements, including the decrement and increment buttons, as well as the delete icon. Let's continue. For the element with the class cart quantity, we add the following properties. Display flex to arrange elements horizontally. Width 100 pixels to define the element width. Border to create a surrounding line for the element. Border radius 6 pixels to make the corners rounded. Next for the buttons inside cart quantity. Background transparent to match the parent element. With 30 pixels for the button width. Border none to remove the button's border. Font size 20 pixels for the button text size. Cursor pointer to change the cursor to a hand when hovered over for the button with the ID decrement. Color gray to set the text color. Then for the element with the class number inside cart quantity. Display flex for a flexible layout. Justify content center to horizontally center the content. Align items center to vertically center the content. With 40 pixels for the element width. Border left and border right each with a size of 1 pixel, gray color, and solid type for the left and right borders. Cursor default, and for the icon with the class cart remove. Font size 25 pixels for the icon size. Cursor pointer to change the cursor to a hand when hovered over. After adding the CSS code, you can see the product quantity element now has a horizontal layout with decrement, quantity, and increment buttons that appear neat. The delete icon also looks better than before. Next, we will style the total price element and the buy now button. Let's continue. For the element with the class total, display flex to arrange elements horizontally. Justify content flex end to align content to the right. Align items center to vertically align content. Border top with a size of 1 pixel, dark gray color, and solid type for the top border. Margin top 20 pixels to create spacing above the element. Font size 18 pixels for the text size. Next for the element with the class total price. Margin left 10 pixels to create spacing from the element on its left. Font weight 600 for bold text. Then for the button with the class BTM buy. Display block to make the button span the full width. Padding 10 pixels 30 pixels for inner spacing in the button. Background bright orange for the button color. Border none to remove the button border. Border radius 6 pixels to make the button corners rounded. Font size 16 pixels for the text size. Color white for the text color. Margin 20 pixels auto 0 to create spacing above the button and center it. Cursor pointer to change the cursor to a hand when hovered over. After adding this style, the total price element is now neatly displayed with a top border. The Buy Now button has a striking orange color with white text and is centered. Next, we will style the close icon at the top of the cart. Let's continue. For the element with the ID cart close, Position absolute to position the element specifically within its parent. Top 20 pixels for vertical spacing from the top of the parent element. Right 15 pixels for horizontal spacing from the right of the parent element. Font size 35 pixels to make the font size clear. Cursor pointer to indicate that this element is clickable. Now you can see the close button at the top right corner of the page, right inside the cart element. This button uses a large icon to indicate the action of closing the shopping cart. Next, we will adjust the properties of the cart element by changing the right value from 0 to -100% so that the shopping cart is hidden off-screen by default. For the element with the class cart, we modify the following property. Right -100% to hide the element on the right side of the screen, so it only appears when activated. Now the shopping cart is no longer visible on the screen, as its position is hidden off-screen with the value right -100%. Next, we will add JavaScript to enable animation when opening and closing the shopping cart. First, create a JavaScript file here. Click New File and name the file script.js. Ensure to link this JavaScript file to the HTML file first. Write it here before the closing body tag. Enter the name of the JavaScript file you just created. Now we can start writing the JavaScript code here. We will create 3 variables for the following elements. Now we have a variable named cart icon. This variable is used to store the element with the ID cart icon, which is retrieved using the query selector method in the document object. Next, the cart variable is used to store the element with the class cart, also retrieved using the query selector method. Lastly, the cart close variable is used to store the element with the ID cart close, also retrieved using the same method. We will then add event listeners to the cart icon and cart close variables. For the cart icon variable, we add an event listener for the click event, which will call a function. This function will add the active class to the element with the cart class to open the shopping cart. This is done using the classless property with the add method. For the cart close variable, we also add an event listener for the click event, which calls a function. This function will remove the active class from the element with the cart class using the classless property with the remove method, thus hiding the shopping cart again. Before we can see the results on our website, we will add the active class to our CSS. We will add it to the element with the cart class. Here, we set the value of the right property to 0 to make this element visible on the right side of the screen when the active class is added. When the active class is removed, the right value returns to -100%, which is the default value of the shopping cart, meaning it will be hidden again. Next, we add the transition property to the element with the cart class. This property has a value of 0.5 seconds, which creates a smooth transition effect for 0.5 seconds as the element moves from a hidden position to a visible one and vice versa. Now we can see the cart icon in the corner of the page. If we click the cart icon, the shopping cart will appear, and if we click the close icon, the shopping cart will close again. Next, we will make all the product listings available for adding to the shopping cart when the desired product is selected, complete with details such as image, name, price, quantity, and a remove icon. However, before proceeding, we will hide a product that was previously created in the shopping cart panel. We will comment out all the lines of code for the div element with the cartbox class along with its child elements, so the code will not be displayed in the browser. If we check now, the product in the shopping cart panel has been successfully hidden. Next, we can start writing JavaScript code to add products to the shopping cart. we will create a variable named Add Cart Buttons. Now we have a variable named Add Cart Buttons. This variable is used to store all elements with the Add Cart class, which are retrieved using the querySelectorAll method in the document object. This variable will be used to target the Add to Cart buttons for each product. Next, we will add an event listener to each element in the Add Cart Buttons variable. We use the forEach method to iterate through each button. In each iteration, we add an event listener for the click event. The function call will retrieve the closest element with the ProductBox class using the event.target property and the closest method. The result is stored in the ProductBox variable, and we then call the add to cart function with the ProductBox argument. This function is used to add the product to the cart. Now we will create the add to cart function, which has one parameter named ProductBox. This function is used to add a product element to the shopping cart. The ProductBox parameter is used to receive product details, such as name, price, and image from the selected product element. Inside this function, we will create several variables. The first variable is product_img_src, which contains the value of the src attribute of the img element within the ProductBox element. The second variable is product title, which contains the text of the product title from the element with the product title class within the ProductBox element. The third variable is product price, which contains the text of the product price from the element with the price class within the ProductBox element. Next, we will create a variable named CartBox. This variable is used to store a div element dynamically created using the document.createElement method. In other words, we have created a new div element using this method and stored it in the CartBox variable. Then this element is given the CartBox class using the classless property and the add method. We will then populate the CartBox element with product details, such as image, product name, price, product quantity, and a remove icon using the inner HTML property. In this case, we use backticks instead of regular quotation marks because we will dynamically insert variables into the HTML string. The HTML elements to be inserted into the CartBox are taken from the elements we previously commented out in the HTML file. We can copy all the child elements of the div element with the CartBox class, starting from the image element to the remove icon, but excluding the div element with the CartBox class itself. After that, paste those elements here. In this string, we will dynamically insert some variables previously defined. First, the product_img_src variable is inserted as the value of the src attribute in the img tag. This variable contains the value of the src attribute of the img element within the ProductBox. Second, the product title variable is inserted as the content of the h2 element with the cart product title class. This variable contains the text from the element with the product title class. Third, the product price variable is inserted as the content of the span element with the cart price class. This variable contains the text from the element with the price class. We will also create a variable named cart content, which contains the element with the cart content class. This variable will be used to store the product elements added to the cart. Finally, the CartBox element will be added to the cart content element using the appendChild method. Now we can add products to the shopping cart. When we click the Add to Cart button, the selected product will be displayed in the shopping cart panel along with its details, such as image, name, price, product quantity, and remove icon. Next, we will ensure that if the same product is added more than once, the user will receive a warning that the product already exists in the cart, preventing duplicate products in the cart. In the Add to Cart function, we add the following check. We retrieve all elements with the cart product title class within the cart content. Then we use a loop to compare each cart product title with the product title. If the same product is found, we display an alert message that the product already exists in the cart and stop the process of adding the product to the cart using return. If we try to add the same product to the cart, an alert message will appear, informing us that the product already exists in the cart and stopping the process of adding the product to the cart. This way, the shopping cart now prevents product duplication. Next, we will create a function that allows users to remove products from the shopping cart. We will also ensure that the associated elements are completely removed. We implement this in the Add to Cart function. We add an event listener to the element with the cart remove class. When the delete icon is clicked, the callback function will call cartbox.remove to remove the cartbox element from the shopping cart. With this, unwanted products can be easily removed. We can see the trash bin icon on every product in the cart. If I click the icon, the associated product is directly removed from the cart. Next, we will create a feature to adjust the quantity of products in the shopping cart, allowing the user to increase or decrease the number of products. We also implement this within the Add to Cart function. We add an event listener to the element with the cart quantity class. This event listener captures clicks on the increment or decrement buttons. Then the event handler executes logic to change the product quantity based on the button clicked. Within the event handler, we declare several variables such as number element for the span element with the number class, which displays the product quantity, decrement button for the quantity decrement button, quantity, which retrieves the text value from number element. We then check the event target's ID. If the click button has the ID decrement and the product quantity is greater than 1, we reduce the quantity value by 1. Additionally, if the product quantity reaches 1, we change the button's color to gray to indicate the minimum limit. On the other hand, if the click button is increment, we increase the quantity value by 1 and restore the decrement button's color to its original state. Finally, the new quantity value is updated in number element to display the latest product count. We can see that each product has an increment and decrement button. When the increment button is clicked, the product quantity increases. When the decrement button is clicked, the product quantity decreases. And if the quantity reaches 1, the decrement button turns gray. The next step is to update the total price, which is calculated based on the product quantity and price of each product. We define the update total price function to calculate the total price in the shopping cart. In this function, we get the element with the total price class. We get all elements with the cartbox class. We initialize a variable total with a value of 0. Using for each, we iterate over each cart box element. In this iteration, we retrieve the element with the cart price class to get the product price. We retrieve the number element representing the product quantity. We remove the dollar symbol from the price using the replace method. We get the text value of the number element representing the product quantity as text. This value is used for calculations. The operation is then used to add the product of the product price and quantity to the total variable. This process is repeated for every item in the cart, so by the end of the iteration, the total variable represents the total price of all products. After the iteration is complete, the text of the total price element is updated with the newly calculated total price. The format uses a string with a dollar symbol in front of the total price. Next, within the add to cart function, we call the update total price function. This function is called every time a new product is added to the cart to ensure the displayed total price is always accurate and reflects the cart's latest state. In the event listener for the increment and decrement buttons, we also call the update total price function. The goal is to update the total price when the product quantity in the cart changes. The update total price function is also called within the event listener for the cart remove button. This ensures the total price is updated after a product is removed from the cart. Now we can see the total price is automatically updated when a product is added to the cart. When the product quantity is changed, and when a product is removed from the cart. If all products are removed, the total price will be $0. Next, we will create a feature to update the item count in the shopping cart by adding an item count badge. We define a variable cart item count to store the total number of items in the cart, initially set to 0. Next, we create a function update cart count that takes one parameter, change. The change parameter is used to determine whether the item count increases or decreases based on user interaction. The contents of the update cart count function are as follows. We find the DOM element with the cart item count class, which serves as the badge displaying the total number of items in the cart. We add the value of the change parameter to the cart item count variable. If change is positive, the item count increases. If it is negative, the item count decreases. If cart item count is greater than 0, the badge is displayed by setting the visibility property to visible. The badge value is updated with the cart item count text. If cart item count is 0 or less, the badge is hidden by setting the visibility property to hidden, and the badge text is cleared by setting it to an empty string. Then within the add to cart function, we call the update cart count function with an argument value of 1 each time a new product is added. This ensures the item count badge is always accurate. This is to increase the number of items on the badge. When a product is removed from the cart using the cart remove button, we also call the update cart count function, but with an argument value of -1. This decreases the item count in the badge. Now we can see the item count badge next to the cart icon. The badge increases when a product is added to the cart. The badge decreases when a product is removed from the cart. If the cart is empty, the badge disappears. Next, we will add a buy button. When this button is clicked, the cart will be emptied, the total price reset, and a purchase confirmation message displayed. We use the addEventListener method to listen for the click event on the element with the btn by class. When the Buy Now button is clicked, a callback function is executed. Then using querySelectorAll, we retrieve all elements with the CartBox class from the cart content element. These elements represent all the products in the cart. If the CartBox's node list length is 0, meaning there are no products in the cart, the user will receive a warning message via an alert with the text, "Your cart is empty. Please add items to your cart before buying." The function will then terminate using return. If the cart is not empty, we iterate over each CartBox element using for each. The products are removed from the DOM using the remove method. This ensures all products are visually removed from the cart display. After all products are removed, the cart item count variable is reset to 0 because there are no more products in the cart. The update cart count function is called with an argument value of 0 to ensure the item count badge is updated. The badge will be hidden because there are no products in the cart. The update total price function is called to ensure the total price in the total price element is reset to $0, reflecting the empty cart. Once all the above steps are completed, the user is given a confirmation message via an alert with the text, "Thank you for your purchase." Now if we press the Buy Now button, if the cart is empty, a message, "Your cart is empty," will appear. If there are products, a message, "Thank you for your purchase," will appear, and the cart will be emptied. The final step is to add CSS code to ensure that this e-commerce site is responsive to smaller screens using media queries. On screens smaller than 360 pixels wide, the product list appears too close to the right side of the screen, and the shopping cart panel partially enters the view when it should be completely hidden on the right side of the screen when inactive. Therefore, we will adjust some CSS properties to address this issue. For elements within a media query on screens with a maximum width of 360 pixels, we add the following properties. Grid template columns on the product content element to ensure responsive layout on small screens, with a minimum width of 200 pixels and a maximum width of 1 fr. Width 100% for the card element to take up the full width of the screen on small devices. After adding these properties, we can see the product list now has enough space on the right side, making it neater and easier to read. The shopping cart panel is now completely hidden on the right side of the screen when inactive. When the shopping cart panel is activated, it adjusts to take up the full screen width. Finally, we have successfully completed the creation of this beautiful e-commerce website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I hope this video can be beneficial for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe to my channel CodeHow to see more exciting content. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.